Bloomberg wrote in an article that the soft landing the Fed is trying to engineer may mean, quote, tolerating higher inflation for years to come. Will we be dumpster diving for school supplies come September? They kicked off with the expected Fed hike, which the Fed has signals could be the last one for now as they wait and see how much damage their previous hikes have done. I mentioned in earlier videos how rate hikes typically take about 18 months to play out, and we're only about 10 months into this cycle. So we have not even seen what is coming. So why is the Fed still hiking? Because they're deathly afraid of inflation getting voters angry enough that politicians rein in the Fed's ability to manipulate the economy into permanent inflation and periodic banking crises. Like a gasoline thief siphoning off his neighbors every night, the key is don't steal too much. And the Fed is happy to crush the real economy to hide this siphoning, to lull voters back to sleep, back to a resigned acceptance of the 2 or 3% inflation they normally steal per year. About $1 trillion, by the way. The problem for the Fed is that its hikes so far have not kicked off a full-blown recession. Rather, a, quote, rolling recession, with some parts of the economy hitting 2008 levels, startups, commercial real estate, of course, regional banks, even as other parts of the economy continue humming along from accumulated pandemic savings and pent-up demand in housing, cars, and even vacations as humanity is released from the 3 years COVID cage. The Fed is particularly worried about paychecks not going down, which they would very much like to see. The reason this all scares the Fed is that without a full-blown recession, they're afraid household spending will not shrink enough to counteract the trillions that the federal government printed during COVID, which means inflation won't come down. Meaning the Fed's choice is either keep hiking to finally crush the economy, or let it ride and pray the existing hikes do the trick. However, a chorus of analysts are now arguing the existing rates will not do the trick because progress in headline inflation so far has been surface level. Unwinding choke supply chains, falling energy prices amid global recession, including China. Meanwhile, underlying core inflation has barely moved. The Fed's favorite inflation gauge, core PCE, rose at an annual 4.6% in the latest numbers, which is down just 0.5% from the peak of core PCE last year. In other words, from the outside, it looks like progress, but underlying inflation has barely budged. It is frustrating watching the Fed trying to treat a government spending headache by choosing which leg to cut off. But of course, that's the nature of central banking. It's not about responsible custodianship of the economy. It's about stealing as much inflation as possible without the victims getting upset, and then scapegoating away the bank crises and recessions that come along for the ride. We may yet muddle through this if the American people can produce faster than the bastards can destroy. But at this point, even the Fed knows the happy talk about progress is a lie, and the pain will continue. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.